So, Eric Gudbranson's going to have a hearing with the NHL for a hit that he threw last night against Frankie Vatrano. One might expect me to come out guns a-blazing because Frankie Vatrano is one of my favorite players, and Gudbranson have been critical of in the past, but not this time. So I looked at the hit. I looked at it a few times. I'll leave a link to the hit in the description of this video. Gudbranson's throwing a hit, and was it late? Probably a step. Probably a step late. Vatrano turned his back, face first to the boards. I already know where Don Cherry's going to go with this. Cherry's going to put this completely on Frankie. Frankie's 5'9". Eric Gudbranson's 6'5". When you're 8 inches smaller than somebody, this part of their body is at head level, and you got to be careful. And I'm saying this from both angles. So both Vatrano has to be careful going into the boards, and Gudbranson has to be careful coming in. Now, it's an ugly hit. In its appearance, it's an ugly hit. Was it worth a game misconduct? No. I don't think so. I don't. And the fact that this is a hearing means the NHL is likely to suspend him. But I almost think it's for optics, and I say this as a guy who cheers for both teams. That's why I got both Bruins and Canucks on. And I love Frank Vatrano. I don't want to see him get hurt. But when you look at the hit, that hit happens because Gudbranson's 8 inches taller than Vatrano. If they'd been the same height, it's still a dangerous hit. Probably results in a boarding penalty. Probably a 2-minute penalty for that. But it's not ugly, and it's likely that it's not going to impact the head. Now, this is where it gets tricky. The NHL wants to take all these hits out, right? They want all these hits out of the game. All of these situations where player A hits player B, and player B is impacted to the head. But you can't take it all out. And they seem to be picking and choosing which ones get reviewed by the NHL. I've seen some that I've said, oh, that's an interesting hit, and nothing happens. There's no penalty. There's no subsequent discipline. And then ones like this one, which to me look like an unfortunate incident. I don't think there was any malice on Gudbranson's part. And I would imagine Vatrano would agree with that. I would imagine if Vatrano sees the hit, he's not going to say, oh, clearly he's trying to injure me. So the intent's not there. It's more of a chance hit than anything else, and yet he's having a hearing with the NHL. So it could be a suspension. It could be 1 to 3 games. And that would be substantial for the Canucks only because Gudbranson's their most physical defenseman. He's their biggest defenseman. In terms of the way he plays, he's their biggest defenseman. And it would be a real blow to the team at a time where they've already lost Edler. And Edler, we could debate Edler's effectiveness at another time, but they're really eating into that defensive depth that they don't really have. They don't have the depth to start losing guys. So, do I expect a suspension? Probably. I could see it being a game. I could see him being suspended today for the Buffalo game. But honestly, it was not a dirty hit. Was it late? A little bit. But I don't look at that hit and say, oh, that's dirty. Oh, you've got to get that. Like, I wince at what happens to Vatrano because he's facing the boards. And he's short. And I've said this in other videos too. When you're short, you have to be aware of where you are when you're playing sports with guys who are about a foot taller than you. You got to have your head on a swivel at all times. Because when you're the small guy out there, they can't wait to smoke you into a wall, just down to the floor, down to the ground, wherever they can. So I hope Vatrano's not going to have any kind of concussive issues with this, and hopefully the league takes it easy on Gudbranson because I don't think it was premeditated. You guys can let me know what you think in the comment section below. As I said, I'll link to the actual video of the incident, the article where they talk about it on Sportsnet, and that has the video of the incident in it. And yeah, you guys can let me know what you think. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.